who will Keir Starmer next?
What's he gonna do? He's not a pussy. He ain't Liz Truss.
No, I'm not touching you. No, so come closer. No, come closer.
Hello and welcome to Inform Me Informed. I'm Izzy.
And I'm Garcia.
And Happy New Year. We are recording this in 2024, but by the time you guys are watching it, it will be the first week of 2025. So we've got no idea what the new year is.
Who knows what shenanigans that would have brought. Hopefully the world not ended.
Shall we do it in the same order we did last time? World first, predictions for the world, then the UK, then entertainment, which includes sport, and then finish off on the personal stuff.
Sure.
Cool. Okay, so the world. I have some predictions. First of all, I'm going to talk about the US, obviously. I predict, shock horror, that on January the 20th, 2025, Donald Trump will become the next president of the United States.
Well,
I mean, call me a psychic.
Whatever.
It is what it is. I know I made the same joke in the previous episode, but I'm making it again. Yeah.
It wasn't funny the first.
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to be heading up the Department of Government Efficiency, which I think is going to be a good thing. We both advocate for smaller government.
We do, but I don't advocate for Elon Musk.
Well, I mean, if he gets the job done. He gets the job done.
Sure.
I mean, this is a man that doesn't like to waste his time.
There's nothing you're going to say to me that's going to make me like
I'm
Elon
not trying
Musk.
to make you like Elon Musk. I'm just saying this is a man that doesn't like to waste his time. So he's not going to put time in something he doesn't think is works or doesn't think that he can't accomplish.
Actually, I think he would. He would, because the high profile nature of this is it can't be underestimated. I mean, there's nothing like this in the world. It's going to get the traction.
Yeah, but he doesn't need it. I don't think he needs it. Anyway, okay. So apart from that, I think the US foreign policy. I can't speak for the economic policy of Donald Trump. I have mixed feelings. Haven't quite decided how I feel about that. In terms of his foreign policy, I think it would be good. Okay, so Alan, I'm going to start off with Argentina, because I mentioned that earlier. I think that the economy will continue to get better. I think Milei will succeed in all his endeavours. I think he's done the right thing, even though it got worse before it got better, as he said it would. In terms of the three, what I'm now referring to as the three big uns that we talked about last time, in terms of Ukraine, Russia, the Middle East, and South Sudan. My predictions are as follows. I think there will be a peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine. I can't say what form that will take. I think the Middle East will continue, and I think South Sudan will get worse. So I've got one on either side and one straight down the middle.
I also have ongoing wars on my list, and I think that there is... I do think that there's probably will be a peace treaty, but again, I don't know what that will look like. I do think that the Sudan will become the world's biggest humanitarian crisis, and I think that we're going to be dealing with this from 2025 right into 2026.
I concur.
And I do think that Israel is actually going to further amass territory, like it has done in Syria. And I think I actually don't think that the war in Israel will come to an end.
No, I don't.
I think it's going to escalate further. So I predict that it's going to escalate further.
I think it will be continuous. But then again, it depends on how you define escalate further, because this war's been ongoing for the last 70 years. There have been peaks and there have been troughs.
Mm-hmm. But because of the land grab and the genocide...
Which Israel has done several times in the past.
They have,
as well.
But they haven't moved into Syria quite in the way that they're currently doing now. So we'll see what happens with that, because I do predict that them moving into territories in Syria is what's going to be the... as they continue. Yeah, I think it's going to be the catalyst that brings in other countries. So in terms of ongoing wars, I just see them as ongoing.
What about Russia, Ukraine?
Yeah, I said that at the beginning. I think that there will be a peace treaty, and I agree. I don't know what that will look like, unless... Well, we'll see what happens in Europe generally, because Europe is rearming itself. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm hoping that there isn't a Franz Ferdinand moment. If you don't know what a Franz Ferdinand moment is, go read a book.
Yeah.
It was the catalyst that kicked
People
off World War II.
World War One. Franz
Whoa.
Ferdinand was World War One.
World War II. It's fine. That's what Google's for. No, World War One.
No, yeah,
World War
yeah,
One.
yeah. I did think it was World War One
Mm.
because World War One was the catalyst for what kicked off World War Two. So he was assassinated, which caused it was Austrian.
Yeah,
and that caused Austria to invade a completely separate country to Germany, which I can't remember, which led to then Germany. Germany didn't start the war. I mean,
No.
they did a pretty good job of escalating it, but they didn't start World War One.
No, they didn't. But we'll see what happens, regardless.
Yes. Okay. So the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said in the last episode of the Roundup of last year that you think Keir Starmer is going to get ousted this year. I don't see that happening.
I can live in hope.
Sure, but
I'm
I live in
hoping
reality.
I'm hoping that that's what happens.
I don't think that is going to happen.
Okay, well, that's my prediction.
That's fine.
There is currently. I don't know if it's still.
I think he's got
actually.
too much of a majority, and I think he's got another 5 years. And I think that no vote of confidence will ever pass through the House of Commons, given the majority that he's got. I just don't see it happening. I don't see any. I mean, the world and his wife could be putting untold amounts of pressure on Keir Starmer to resign. What's he going to do? He's not a pussy. He ain't Liz Truss. He's not going to be like, okay. He's going to be like, no, screw you. I've got the majority. I ain't resigning. And no untold amount of pressure is going to force him to do so. I don't think. Well, and that's the only way. Only way that he gets ousted is by him effectively being pressured into resigning.
Or if he dies.
Yeah, but again, I don't see that happening either.
We can't afford a state funeral.
I'm not buying his anti-mass immigration stance, but we'll see how that plays out. Don't think things are going to change. I think things are going to get a hell of a lot worse. Like Nick Buckley said in our episode with him, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse, I think, in 2025 in terms of the economy in the UK, especially with the putting up taxes even more, insurance.
Yeah, 2025, April 2025. Council tax going up 5%. But on that note, I predict that Labour will further destroy the NHS. And because I actually watched the news today, that never happens, I saw that Labour have passed various bills to build on green belts.
Really?
Yeah, 350,000 houses per year.
I'm not impressed.
I'm not impressed
at all. That's really bad. That's one of the things that Nick Buckley ran on. Was protecting the green belt. Well, he had 5 policies, and one of them was protecting the green belt.
Keir Starmer's already started destroying things, and so I predict that will continue, and I actually think that we're going to see a further summer of protests. At this point, I think it's inevitable. I also think that we're going to see further walkouts in terms of people's jobs for the simple fact of what he's doing or not doing for the NHS. The situation with the junior doctors has created issues across the NHS because he agreed a 20% pay rise or whatever it is. So I predict that the NHS is going to be in further turmoil and the green belts are going to be destroyed.
It's not going to take a year to destroy the green belt, but it's going to start us down a slippery slope that we can't come back from.
Because once you've started, you can't stop the boulder.
Yeah, exactly.
I also have on my list the rise of Kemi Badenoch. Is it Badenoch or Badenoch? Badenoch. The rise of her.
The rise of the woman we never knew we needed.
I'm seeing a lot of comparisons between her and Thatcher at the moment. I have mixed views on Thatcher because I live in the north. And her policies have destroyed the north. Well, they destroyed the north, so yeah, but I do think that she's going to rise to prominence properly in 2025.
I mean, I don't know enough about Thatcher to comment. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people say she's awesome. These are the reasons why the north is already failing and blah blah blah. And then I've heard, obviously, living in the north, all those sides of things as well. But in terms of Kelly Badenoch, the one thing I care most about, honestly, that I believe is the only way, effectively, to save what I would describe as a failing country is by completely ending mass immigration and starting deporting people, which is going to boost income levels. It's going to boost the economy. It's going to stop. We don't have to build some. It's going to stop us from destroying the countryside. And the other thing I would argue would be for lowering taxes to help boost productivity, to incentivize people to come to this country, to stop millionaires from leaving, because millionaires pay the most taxes. They give the government more taxes than anybody else, and the UK is currently the number one country in the world for millionaires leaving. That's a bad thing. So all these tax rises is not going to bring in the amount of money the government thinks it's going to bring in, because all the people that pay the most tax are pissing off to grass is greener.
Mm. I do also think that, I've got on my list a question, which is who will Keir Starmer next? So I feel like
the NHS, but he just keeps going on.
Everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. Gonna get it in the neck at some point. I see him taking away more
freedoms,
more. I've got mixed views on the welfare state anyway. But I can see a lot of people in the UK suffering more in the next coming year. In terms of our economy and rising prices and various things, I think that will continue. I don't think we're going to see an end to those things.
Yeah, reasonable.
Shall we move on to your entertainment? Have you got anything else?
That was pretty much it on that. Yeah, I think you summed it up.
Mm-hmm. Who will Keir Starmer next?
Yeah.
In terms of entertainment, I'll start with a big one. I predict
Did he or didn't he?
No, that's not the biggest thing.
Oh,
Arsenal. Of course, there's only one Arsenal football club. Arsenal will win the league. Whatever negative thing you're about to say, don't.
I was just going to say, repeat, you promised if there was two of them, wouldn't it? Sorry, carry on.
Whenever you're finished. Arsenal will win the league. 2025. Come on, you Arsenal. Yes. Also, the World Cup's next year. We were working this out before because of the COVID and all of that happened, and then there was the weird late World Cup.
I predict that England will not win.
I predict that England will win the World Cup.
Every year, every time there's a World Cup, I predicted that England will not win, and every year I've been right.
Where's your patriotism?
Oh, I wish that they would win. I hope that they would win, and I will sit there and I will watch the matches and go woo woo with the best of them. But that doesn't mean that I think realistically, if we take bias out of it, that I think that they're going to win, because they never do. Experience of living my 37 years on this planet has taught me that England are just not going to win.
I also predict that we will go to America for the World Cup.
I thought you wanted to do...
yeah, it's fine. We can do a trip.
You didn't know what I was going to say. What's it called? The singing thing.
Eurovision. Eurovision's in Switzerland. We'll be fine.
I know. But I also have Bali next year. I'm going to Scotland in January. I'm going to Bali in February. We're going to Chile at the end of the year. You're going to Japan with Sam.
Yeah, I know. But we could fit in a weekend. What's a weekend trip between friends?
A weekend trip.
To Switzerland?
To America. Oh, I was going to say.
No, for Eurovision. And then that way, we don't need a week. We'll stay with...
We definitely need a week for America. I ain't flying all that way for 3 days.
No, I don't even like flying but I'm surprised that I do as much travelling as I do with the amount that I hate flying.
Okay, so the football's out of the way. Do you want to do Diddy?
Of course. P. Diddy trial, unless he has an Epstein in prison, will be the trial of the century. I predict that. He's going down.
Every trial is the trial of the century.
Because there's a couple of big other trials that I see going forward, and I've also mentioned in this, but I think that's going to be massive. I predict that he's going to jail for a very long time. He's not coming out. In terms of other trials, and I will put
I'll quote you. I put P Diddy
Mhm.
dash. Once the drama element has subsided, the story will fall by the wayside, like Epstein's story, and loads of accomplices will get away with it.
I don't think so, because of the sheer scale of it.
We said that about Epstein.
We did.
The sheer scale of that, I mean, come on.
But this is...
He had an island in which he was trafficking people. P Diddy don't got no island.
He does, but also... I mean, I don't want to sound racist here, but they sensationalise black trials more than they do some of the white ones. In the
I'm
American
not
media,
sure that they
so
do.
I think that they do.
I don't think they do. They sensationalised Epstein until he got murdered.
Yeah, but then also, I mean, there was other things with Epstein. I mean, look at, what's his name, Prince Andrew and all that stuff. There was other...
Yeah, sensationalised. But then it all fell by the wayside. Prince Andrew got away with it.
I don't think this will fall by the wayside. I predict that his name, I don't know how to say his name, so I'm going to butcher it as best as I can. Luigi Maglione, the guy, the United Healthcare guy, the guy that
UN healthcare guy.
Yeah, that's going to be a massive trial into next year.
What's going on with that?
They caught him. This guy called Luigi, and then they're
Doing
indicting
what?
him. Apparently, McDonald's, a McDonald's worker snitched.
What was he doing?
He was buying a burger, and they snitched. They recognised his face or something from the mugshot, and they snitched.
I don't understand what you're talking about, Garcia.
He was the guy he's been arrested and charged with the murder of the United Healthcare boss. So for me, the trial which will happen...
Luigi has?
Yeah.
So he's not the UN boss?
No. The United Healthcare scandal was assassinated on Wall Street, and there was a manhunt for who did it, and they arrested in the last week this guy called Luigi Maglione.
Because they recognised him buying a burger. How did they know it was him?
Well, a McDonald's worker...
No, but how did they know he killed him?
They don't yet, but he's been indicted for these charges, so...
So how did the person in McDonald's recognise him if they didn't
There was a
know he'd done
mugshot, but it was only of this part of his face.
So they were
snitched.
looking on a manhunt for this guy.
Yeah. He was
I'd have
caught
snitched.
earlier this week. I wouldn't have snitched, because snitches get stitches.
No,
Anyway.
I mean, somebody killed somebody.
No.
Law and order.
I am all for law and order and all of those things, but really...
No, I don't care. Like,
think you
it's
did
not
a
acceptable
service.
to murder people. If you murder one person, you can murder other people. You got to think about the wider society. 100%.
I see
Like,
your
it's not- it's
argument,
common
but
sense.
No. I see your argument, but there's more nuance to it than that. And I
So
think
if you
that
found out somebody had like raped a bunch of kids, you wouldn't snitch on them. Guaranteed you
that's not the same thing.
would. Murder.
This is not the same thing. It's more nuanced than that. This United Healthcare have destroyed the lives of millions of people. I'm not saying that the murder... Obviously, this man was
this
a
is one of them
CEO,
happy,
and he
friendly, good
murdered...
murders.
So, look, I'm not budging, okay? I think he did a public service. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And then...
Just to clarify, murder's wrong.
Of course,
regardless of who it
murder's
happens
wrong.
to.
Murder's wrong.
And there's no such thing as a public service in that regard. I
Murder's
feel
wrong.
Very strongly about this.
Murder is wrong. Murder is wrong. And then that's it really for entertainment for me.
I've got Wicked 2.
Oh, of course. How could I forget? Oh,
And I've got
shame on
that.
me. I think that's going to do well, but not as well as the first because we discussed this.
We
didn't
discussed this. You said
Yeah.
it was going to do
better, but really, you made a good
Second
point, which is
ones.
that part twos don't do as well.
And the other thing I had was obviously, I've come prepared with my Deathly Hallows t-shirt on to talk about the new Harry Potter TV series, which I'm very excited about. I think they're going to make some really stupid casting decisions. I don't think it's going to come out until 2026, which that's not really a prediction. They've said it's not going to come out until 2026, which is, it gives them time to
Is
get
your
the plot
casting
right.
decision situation based on Black Snake?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think that they should be casting people that look like the characters.
I don't agree because I think throughout history there's been loads of people that were. We had this conversation
And I
last night.
disagreed on
And
all of those other ones.
My
as well.
example, yeah, okay, fair enough. And
Yeah.
I mean, the big one in entertainment for us is I predict Informally Informed is going to get bigger and better.
I also predicted that next year, at the end of next year, we will look back upon the episode and do a Were Our Predictions Correct episode. Which I think is a great prediction.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, and Comedy Unleashed in Manchester will, of course, get bigger and better.
Yep.
I think so.
Any
And-
personal goals?
Scotland, Bali, Chile are the 3 travelling goals I've got for next year, 2 of which are already in the diary and booked. And I've got some financial goals, I've got some business goals, I've got some personal development goals, all of which we don't have time to talk about in the next sort of 5-10 minutes. What about you?
Yeah, I also have some personal goals. Japan. Going to America to see the World Cup. You never take me anywhere, and then you look at me this way. You don't take me places.
I took you to America literally last year.
You didn't take me. I had to take myself.
I was already there.
You treat me like your ugly red-headed stepchild.
I invited you
Oh my
onto
God.
mine and Jess's road trip.
You don't do things for anyway. I predict divorce
I'm taking you to the theatre.
in our future.
I'm taking you to the theatre, Garcia.
Are
to
you?
The Panto to see theatre.
Oh,
theatre
again, I had to pay for that. So you're not taking me.
When do you?
Oh my God. Anyway, I predict the end of us. No, I'm joking. We're for life, bitch.
For better, for worse.
But yeah, let us know what your predictions are for the next year.
What about your other personal goals other than?
I've got some business ones.
You said Japan.
Yeah, America, obviously Eurovision, Switzerland. Job-wise, some goals around that.
Personal development.
Sure.
There's a lot you can work on, not gonna lie.
Work on your face. Work on your face.
My face is epic.
I hear that plastic surgery is not as expensive now. Anyway, yeah. I do have some personal goals though, but I will again try for the Goodreads challenge.
I don't know what that is.
So to read I think mine was like 150 books. I came very close, but no cigar. So we'll see how it goes.
Maybe that's something I should do. Oh, do you know what you should have on your list? Spanish.
Oh yeah, of course, and I'm also learning Spanish.
I'm going to improve my Russian for sure this year. And my Spanish.
I think people see my name and automatically assume. So I think I'll be able to reach that. And yeah. But what are some of your goals? Let us know. Comment. And subscribe. I also
it helps with the algorithm.
It does. Join us on all our social media. Informally Informed Pod on Instagram. Informally Informed Pod on X.
And let us know what topics you want us to cover this year, because 2025 we're going to be focusing, we're going to be knuckling down, we're going to be trying to build our podcast, we're going to get on loads of different platforms. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good year for us.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully better than the dumpster fire that was 2024.
Happy New Year, G.
Happy New Year. No, I'm not touching you. No, stop coming closer. No, don't come closer. Yeah, Happy New Year.
Solidarity.
I don't know about that.
And we'll see you in the next one, guys. And we're also going to do a series on different lessons. So lessons that we took from Harry Potter, lessons that we took from Pokemon, lessons that we took from various different things.
Because we have different interests, so it'd be nice to bring those things together.
Yeah, we think it'll be good. Yeah.
I can't wait to discuss.
And if there's anything that you guys watch that you think you got good lessons from, let us know, and we'd be more than happy to do an episode on it.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Let us know if you agree or disagree with any of our views. That's the point of the conversation. Join in.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.